next part is factoring. Factoring takes a polynomial and creates a product somehow. So the first one is going to be just given like a GCF, finding the GCF between two terms and doing the distributive property backwards. So the greatest common factor is what GCF stands for, and that's what 32 is going to entail. Now 33, you're going to just I'm going to give you this trinomial, right, a polynomial with three terms here, and I'm asking you to factor that. For factoring purposes, for 33, there was a rule that I taught you that at least allow you to know the signs, and you can just guess and check by foiling. But what I basically said is that if your middle term is positive and so is your last, your signs are plus plus. So the other one, which we're not using, okay, but just to keep the record straight, as again, if the last term is positive and the middle term is negative, then it's going to be minus minus. And then as soon as that last term is negative, your C, okay, so your B could be whatever it wants to be. But as soon as that right there is negative, you have plus minus, okay? So you can continue to use those to factor, but with 33, we're going to be doing that one, okay? So watch for those signs there about the trinomial. That tells you a lot in the factorization. Now, greatest common factor. All right, so what do they have in common? Well, they definitely have an A in common, so I definitely can pull that out, as they both have an A. They don't have, both of them do not have two A's, right? The 40A squared has two A's, but the 16A only has one. So the only thing they have in common is one single A. Now, between 40 and 16, what is the greatest common factor between it? Okay, so a lot of you guys can look at that and just say, well, it's 8. But here, if you needed to, you just say, well, what two things multiply together to get 16? And if you figure out all those, you're going to get your factors. 2 times 8, 4 times 4. So 1 times 16, 2 times 8, and then 4 times 4. Those are all your factors of 16. You can do the same thing for 40. 1 and 40, 2 and 20. 3 doesn't go into it. 4 and 10 goes into it. 4 and 10. And last but not least, 5 and 8. So that one had a lot. Okay, now you see they both have a 4, okay, but the largest one that they have in common is an 8. So that's how we figure out the greatest common factor, is the largest factor between them. And now it's the distributive property backwards. So you have to ask yourself, okay, well, 8a times what is going to give me 40a squared? Well, I know right here, 5 times 8 gave me 40. Now I need a squared, so I also want an a, because a times a would be a squared. So I need a 5a there. And then 8a times what is going to give me negative 16a. Well, you should realize, well, it's going to have to be negative. Definitely. Because you want a negative 16, so a positive 8 times something negative will give me that. Now, negative 2 specifically will give me negative 16. And I don't need to put an a with a 2 because I have the a already out front. So in other words, 8a times negative 2 would be negative 16a. 33, we already went through the signs. We know it was plus plus. And the only way to get the first term, x squared, is x and x. So now it's just a matter of, we call it the smiley face. You want to check to see that the inside and the outside give you 14. And what are your options? Okay, well, those are the things that multiply to get you 40, right? So that's all of these options over here, actually, that we just went through. So you're thinking, 1 and 40, 2 and 20, 4 and 10, okay, 5 and 8. Okay, well, which one of those add up to 14? That one. So I just put that there, and I'm done. So I know 10x, 4x is 14x. So that's the easiest factoring of the trinomials that we did in class, and you're going to have that for 33.